Welcome to the OnlyRoofers podcast. My name's Elizabeth, and I'm here with my co-host Vince.
Hey guys.
And we are interviewing the one and only John Senac. What up, John?
Not much. Excited to be here.
Alrighty, so tell us, what the heck do you do?
Well, I sell roofing still in southern Indiana, but right now I think the most visible thing is we created a shingle identification service called NTS, where anybody, contractors, public adjusters, insurance adjusters, can send in a sample from a roof into our NTS lab, and we'll identify it, and we provide a ton of supporting documents as to what it is, what the manufacturer has to say about it, if you can mix it, shouldn't mix it, where you can get it. Everything a homeowner really needs to be able to say, oh, I can digest this information and understand exactly what's on my roof and what steps to follow and what I should and shouldn't do.
Gotcha. So why'd you do that?
Well,
Without naming names, there's
unfortunately,
another player in this.
there is another player that identifies products. Company's name's ITEL, and we're not going to down them at all, but there wasn't a lot of options. And like anything, I love competitive business, right? Like we're all in business. You have competition, like we all have competition, but that helps business constantly change, grow, and better. Without competition, I feel like that element lacks.
Yeah.
So we created a service, and we only do shingles right now. We're beta testing some other things, but NTS is for Name That Surface. That's really what it initially started as.
So sorry.
Go ahead, interrupt.
Yes, I always.
Yeah, always.
Always interrupt every interview. So with Name That Shingle, right, specifically on the shingle side, how are you identifying the shingle and how are you cross-referencing it? How does it
Perfect.
actually work?
All right, like any business, we have a proprietary process that we can't give away, but there is plenty of information available from the manufacturer's historical data that we've collected, and through beta testing where we've brought in samples, we've paid to bring in samples, we've shipped in old products. We've done everything we could to collect data and create a large database and as much information from the manufacturers. So when we look at it, we're using a lot of the manufacturer's archaic information and current information to identify those things. There's other things that are proprietary that we do in the process as well, but a lot of it's driven by what the manufacturer has to say about it, and they're the maker of the product. They kind of have the ultimate say anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So being that a lot of guys on watching this is obviously roofers, it's in the name.
Yep.
So what are certain things they should be looking for, that's something that they should send to you, or what could be, this is a slam dunk, it's going to be discontinued, so on and so forth?
I'm going to give you a quick mark. Around the 2004 to 2008 period, we were throwing up houses like right and left, and then everything stopped. Around the time everything stopped, we went through some big shingle changes. So I like about that 2007, 2008 mark.
Okay.
But in general, if it's 10 to 12 years old, I would start vetting the process. Is this a current product or not? That's a good mark. So age is the first one, and then they should get the exposure and the height, and that's a little too adept to get into because if it's a designer, a laminate, a strip shingle, 3-tab, that's all going to change what you're looking for, but just capture the information. And we have a Facebook community, Name That Shingle, where they can throw it on there, and there's a lot of experts that'll say, hey, this is what it is. This is discontinued. This is a hybrid. This was between things. This is current. So that's where I would start, is kind of understanding the benchmark of time, and then grab some specifications, throw it on the Facebook group.
So I'm a roofer, I'm now doing roofs. What do you think the products I'm currently installing, what do you think is the next round before the manufacturer discontinues some of the shingles that are being installed today for future database purposes?
It's almost like you've pre-heard my class. Think about that, 2008, so it's essentially been, 12 to 13 years since our last major change, and then in 2010, the first manufacturer introduced limited lifetime technology. We haven't done anything.
Since
like tiny little stuff, algae resistance, some impact resistance, we have tiny things. I think the SBS modified mats are going to start to take more presence. A lot of manufacturers have already tested them. We just can't keep up with production currently, but they're coming. Well, when those things change, when those major technology changes happen, they're going to drop product lines. Stuff's going to get discontinued. So if you learn how to identify things now, keep all your records, keep your single brochures, right? Keep your data. If you're taking a one off a roof, keep that one, but learn it now, because 2 to 5 years, I think we're going to see the next big curve we went through in 08, 09, and 10.
Discontinue, drop.
Exactly. One manufacturer discontinues, then the next one follows suits, the next one follows suits, and then boom, we're right back in that market again. So if you learn it now and understand it now, you have the opportunity to best service your homeowner, and that's what it's all about.
I really want to touch on one really important thing that you've said several times, is keeping the data of the jobs you've done. You're keeping data of the shingles. You're paying to bring in shingles to get data from old shingles. So from someone, maybe this is not necessarily Name That Shingles specific, but data tracking, database. How special is that to you? How much do you suggest to the roofers to invest into this?
Built a company on database.
Yeah. Exactly.
And again, without giving away a bunch of proprietary stuff, we have over 1,000.
I keep asking those questions, huh?
We have over 1,000 data points in our base spreadsheet.
That's amazing.
Per shingle.
Right, 1,000 data points when we're vetting down through things, right? So just start keeping track of data. If I had known 8 years ago when I got into roofing how effective this was going to be in servicing the homeowner and helping them understand what their shingle was and what the right thing to do is, I'd have kept every flyer, every brochure, every technical bulletin, and I'd have taken a shingle off of every roof we tore off, brought it in and said, do we have this in our shop? Yes, okay, throw it away. Do we have this in our shop? No, it's going on a board. And then we can train our future sales guys. Super simple stuff.
Think about that in 10 years from now.
Yeah, especially when you said that you think in the next 5, let's call it 3 to 5 years,
right,
you're going to have that next change, fundamental change in technology being mass produced, so on, which way you'll have a bunch of product jobs. So they're right in that wheelhouse of start to keep all that, start to grab it, start to hold on to it, and start to get smart when you get older.
Yeah, if you have a roof that's 8 years old that just happened to have a lot of damage and it's getting torn off, keep one of them until you have that exact shingle in your lab, because then in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now when stuff discontinues, you've already got a training.
Start to be the weird shingle lady.
Right.
You want lady hoarder.
Yeah. Look, I would love for someone to out-geek me in shingles.
Yeah.
Right.
I welcome it because we want to help. We want to collaborate, and we want to have that knowledge.
Why don't
to
you
help
start
homeowners.
that, like teaching people how to create their own shingle labs?
I do. I teach classes.
Okay.
Pay attention.
I teach classes. So not NTS. That's a firm to identify shingles.
Okay.
Name That Shingle is a Facebook community. And then under John the Roof Pro, I teach classes that I travel and teach them discontinued product knowledge and
set up their own database.
Yep, and I say that in every class. Take one off, keep it at home. And some of the guys I've privately consulted, they have what they call the John Senac room, where it's just stacks of shingles and boards nailed up on where they keep all their archaic stuff, and that's how they train their guys.
That's amazing.
In no time. Hey, here's what all this old stuff looks like.
Right. That's perfect. So you sell roofs still, so just to get a little bit into that, and what you said about gaining all of those shingles, grabbing them, so on and so forth. I'm a new roofer. I'm a new door-to-door guy. Give me some things that I should be looking for, I should be working on. Obviously, maybe I'm not the one pulling the roof off, and because I'm not the owner, I'm a door-to-door guy.
From a shingle guy, like, what do you want that new guy to understand? Shingle stuff or sales stuff?
Shingle stuff, sales,
product knowledge.
Product knowledge.
Look, okay, so we have over 1,000 data points on our spreadsheet, right? How many shingles are on the market right now? It's way easier to, when you're a new person, memorize what's current. And that way, when you're on a roof, if it doesn't look current, you can start saying, hey, let me think about, is this something older? Because that's only that's a small pool of data you need to memorize now, and then you can continue to build your data library, but you just want to learn the basic, here's what's available now, here's what it looks like, here's the markings, here's the prints, and then when you stand on a roof, you're like, this doesn't match up with what I know, let me vet it further.
Gotcha, okay.
Alrighty, any final tips, final key points, anything like that to close our Only Roofers podcast?
I would say this, like when it comes to product knowledge, we all have kind of two core elements. We have drive or what we call will, and then we have skill. It's hard to develop a lot of drive or will, but you can develop your skill set endlessly. So continue to build your skill set from product knowledge to service to manufacturer information. Grow your skill set nonstop.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Only Roofers podcast. Catch you on the next one.
See you guys.
Boom.